For the last 2 years, we've been working on the designing of a book about my work and where I work and the people I work with. And I'm very excited to say that at long last, here it is. And I just wanted to show you a little bit of what is inside. But the first thing to say is that what was so important was for the book to speak the same language as the work, that the quality of the book would be as high as we could possibly get it in terms of the materials and the design. So the end papers, not sure whether you'll be able to see on the screen, but the end papers are a really subtle wood grain in it, which is really beautiful, and a nod to what is coming inside. And the design of the book, the selection of the paper and the printer, was all done by a woman called Kerry Powell, who is a graphic designer. I don't know whether she'd describe herself as that, but she's a very talented book designer, and we were lucky to be able to collaborate with her on the whole thing. So she has a phenomenal knowledge about the papers and the printing and what goes into the process of making the book, which made the whole kind of leap into the book world a lot more comforting and reassuring that Kerry was on board. So the photography was absolutely key to the success of the book. I'm just going to flick through it and you'll see very quickly that the quality of the photographs are beautiful. And there were 3 main photographers. One photographer, Jackie Hurst, who I've worked with for over 20 years, photographing my work whenever I could afford to get a professional photographer. In the early years, it would be Jackie that I'd call on. And then latterly, meeting locally here, Sarah Sheldrake, who does these wonderful dramatic shots of the work, the big sculptural pieces. And then Matt Reeford, even more recently, for instance, Parkland, the big reception desk that went out to LA last year, he did some wonderful shots of that in the making, through the making process, and in fact that's the opening photograph in the book, is that wonderful working shot showing myself, Phil and Eddie working on Parkland. That kind of sets the scene for the book. It's to do with what's very practical about the work, but also not how to make something, but perhaps my thought process. And the way the book's divided up is, if we just go to the contents page, it's split into initially a foreword and a wonderful essay by Madeline Bunting, and then into sections of shapes, ovoids, spheres, small pieces, furniture, and last section studio. So those are in-depth written pieces at the beginning by myself. And then we've got these lovely scans that were taken of my sketchbooks, the pencil drawings. So for each section there are some relevant pages from sketchbooks over the years, ranging from about 2006. Yeah, with these scale tree sketches right up to about 2023.
And how's the paper different?
Oh, yeah. So that's one of the important things. The paper is really thin and very similar to the sketchbook pages, and I think this is Bible paper. So there's a distinct difference between this thick paper that is the photographs and the text is on, and they're a smaller size. They're the actual size of my sketchbooks, A5.
And the other pages, did you choose that paper specifically so that it would print the images nicely?
Yeah, I mean, Kerry recommended the papers, and you see there's a subtle colour change from the essay and the foreword at the beginning to then the section with that's the shapes that I'm doing the section written text at the beginning, and then all the wonderful photographs. And it's mainly photographs that is in the book, and I don't know about anybody else, but being a visual person, the first thing I want to do with a new book is go through it and look at all the photographs. And they're all wonderful photographs. That was really important at the beginning as well, that there was no compromise on the quality of the photographs. They all had to be good. If I was unsure about them, then they didn't come into the book. I didn't want it to be a history of my work or everything I'd ever done, because it would just be a jumble. It needed to be really selective and really high quality, all of it. This is a lovely bit in the centre where there's a double fold out of Xylosphere 1 on site in the private garden where it is now. It's different colour now, of course, it's weathered.
And was that Kerry's idea to have the fold out?
Yeah. I mean, we might have had more fold outs, but I think, there's obviously a financial implication to any of these extra things, but I think we both felt it would have more impact if it was one rather than several.
I've never seen that in a book before.
Yeah, I have in books over the years, but you don't see it very often. And certainly I've never seen sketchbook pages reproduced like this, and they look so real. It looks like you could almost put your finger on it and pick up the graphite from the pencil that drew the drawing. So, yeah. So it goes through all those sections. We were very lucky to get, just before them going to print, to put some pictures of the 60 exhibition. That is a celebration of being 60 this year. So it's quite nice that having the book has coincided with the year that I'm 60 and having this exhibition.
How many pages of the sketchbook style is there throughout the book?
Well, there are 5 areas. Like, this is the furniture section. So there are 2 double pages. So at the beginning of ovoids, the beginning of spheres, the beginning of small pieces, furniture, and the last section, studio, there are some sketchbook. Here we go. So these are the first sketches of the idea of having my own studio and how the layout of the landscape would be. There's some pictures of the building in that section and the people that I work with, going right back to the early 90s. Kate, Ali P and Brian, and even the more recent people that have worked in the studio, Tom, Jordan, Eddie. And there's the hardcore team, of course, Phil and Kate. There. And then there are exhibitions and awards, public works listed at the back, a short biography with some sweet pictures of the kids when they were little, and kind of important markers in my career are noted there. And then the photographer, very importantly, the photographer's credited at the back. and the relevant people thanked and mentioned who contributed to the book. So, yeah, 30 years.
And the size of the book is...
The size of the book was important. I didn't want it to be too big, to be like a showy off coffee table book. It felt like it didn't need to be that big. It's quite nice that it'll fit in my handbag easily, but the actual proportions of it are based on Gombrich's Story of Art, which for anybody who's done A-level art will know that that book is, well, it used to be, you know, I'm talking some time ago. We would have referred to it constantly doing A-level art. So it's sort of a little nod to the past to be the same proportions as Gombrich.
Is it in between A5 and A4?
Yeah, it's a little bit, it's nowhere near the size of A4 really. It's similar to A5, but it's a bit wider.
Yeah.
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 And I can't remember all the technical terms for some of the processes that have been used, but the title on the spine of the book has been embossed into the linen, so it's covered in fabric, which is very beautiful to hold, to touch, quite warm. And the front image has been, I think it's called tipped in, so it doesn't sit on top of the surface of the book. There's been an impression into the book to take the thickness of the paper of the image on the front, so it just reads as flat. Yeah, so it's all beautifully bound, printed in Sweden, which Kerry selected the printer for the quality of the print, and the paper is special, and the inks, I think, are Japanese. So this printer knew what he was up to with these high quality materials and methods. So I hope this will be a good inspiration for others. The dedication of the book is to, where is it? I think it says it just before my artist statement. Yeah, so I've dedicated the book to creativity, and it says, to creativity for those who inspired me and those who will be inspired. So it's very nice that I've quoted several of the artists that I hold in high regard, sort of my sculpture heroes, like David Nash and Andy Goldsworthy. And it's those people that I was thinking of who I'm kind of thanking for giving me inspiration, and hopefully this book might go on to inspire others.
And if anyone would like to buy the book, then we'll add in...
It'll be available on the website after this Open Studio weekend where we're launching it. Then it will be available on the website to buy.
And I'll make sure that the link to that section of the website's in the description of the video. Yeah.